Welcome everybody, Jack here from Gingerbets and welcome to the Gingerbets Golf Betting Insights weekly YouTube show, where this week, those of you that tuned in to the new video for the 2022-2023 season over the last few days will have noticed that I'm going to be bringing a new video weekly to the YouTube channel, and this is the first one. We're going to be laying a selected group of players each and every week with a view to making 10% profit and risking the whole of my bankroll. So we've started off here with £2,500. We've actually gone for slightly over 10% this week, as you'll be able to tell when you look at the figures. But it's the first week. Let's be brave, and there's good reasons behind each and every lay, which I'm going to talk you through in the next 5, 6, 7 minutes, no longer than that. We're going to try and keep this short and sharp. And if you've got any comments, then please do drop them in the YouTube channel below. It'll be great to hear your thoughts on what you've liked, what you've disliked, what you'd like to see more of in these types of videos. Those of you that aren't familiar with Gingerbets, each and every week I put together a newsletter that breaks down the course, looks at the key skill sets required, and then brings you the best outright selections, best top 20 bets, first round leader picks, all of your action to cover your golf betting needs throughout the week. The newsletter's there to save you time, to make you more informed, and hopefully give you an edge over the bookmakers. And you'll be able to see that small edge already in the lay-in that we've been doing this week. Not much to shout about, just over 0.5%, but it is a small margin, and that is what we're going to be looking to do each and every week on the channel. I'm hoping throughout the course of this year, when we time these better and get into the market earlier rather than on a Wednesday, then we'll be able to beat the market by significantly more than what we're doing just now. And hopefully one event or two events throughout the year, we'll be able to cash out pre-event for a profit of 10%. That's going to be the aim. We might lose our bankroll before it, but that's the journey we're going to go on. It might end up with egg on my face this week. I hope not. But if it is, we'll reload, we'll go again, and hopefully bring you some interesting and different content to what's out there on the YouTube channels. So I won't keep you waiting any longer. Let's go through this week's selections. So you'll see where my mouse is now. We've got two backs. One of them was actually a mistake on Corey Connors. You'll see later that I'm definitely wanting to lay him. And then I've had a very small bet on a player that I believe is far too big a price in Kramer Hickok. So first lay of the week, and I said we're going to do some of these at the top of the board. We're not going to be shy at all. It's Corey Connors, and we've laid him at an average of 22 to 1, just under, for £132 with a liability of £3,000. And the reason for that is quite simply this: he doesn't win enough for me, and I believe that this is a course that demands good putting, and it's a Poana mix in that green surface. He hates them. He hates Poana. He hates putting. He doesn't hit the ball long off the tee. He's very accurate off the tee, an elite driver in some ways, but I believe that this course favours length off the tee. He'll be the first lay. Corey Connors risking £3,000 for a £132 profit. Second lay, he was a winner last year, Tom Hoagie, but I believe that his form has dipped considerably over the past few months. I'm just going to share a few stats with you, but he sits in terms of scrambling and strokes gained around the green, 120th, 130th respectively. That's not good enough in my opinion. This course demands you do get up and down, and on top of that, his driving distance is outside the top 100 in this field, and that's not something that I particularly like. I don't believe he's in hot form, and I think that his price is too short. I think he'll go off about 65 on the machine. We laid him at 55. Let's see how we do. Next up, JJ Spawn. He's just not good enough to win this event for me, and it's his strokes gained off the tee. I believe for this event, you're going to have to gain strokes off the tee when I look at the previous winners, and I think that he is a player that is too short in the betting. I believe that might be to do with the fact that one of the leading tipsters in the UK has tipped him up. He would have been a lot bigger than 80 to 1, which we've laid him at here. 80 to 1's too short. He's 100 to 1 plus shot in my view, and I'm happy to lay at 80 to 1. Next up, we've got Troy Merritt. We've laid for £34 at 80 to 1. And again, with Troy Merritt, he was one that was hard to leave out and hard to lay. And the reason being, his proximity stats are really good from 100 to 125 yards. And those of you that are tuned into the video and sign up for the newsletter will know that that's a key distance this week. But we've laid him. He doesn't win enough. He came close to winning the Rocket Mortgage Classic about 16, 17 months back now, where he came second to Cam Davis. and we were on him that week. He's not threatened the top of the leaderboard much since, and I'm happy to get him on side. Next up, Andrew Putnam. He's got an elite level short game. I think ranks first in strokes gained around the green and scrambling, but it's his driving distance and strokes gained off the tee that puts me off this week. And again, those of you that are tuned in to the newsletter and the YouTube video will know they are not things that I like this week. I want length off the tee, and I want players that gain strokes consistently off the tee. Next up, Brendan Wu. We've laid in for £25, 110 to 1, and that is because his proximity stats from 75 yards to 100 yards and 100 to 125 yards, where 35% of shots will come from this week, they're not good enough. He ranks outside. He ranks in the bottom 15% of this field for strokes gained from those proximity yardages. So for me, that's enough to lay him, and I've got him on side. We then got Robbie Shelton. Robbie Shelton, I'm going to read some stats out to you. Fairway gain sits 94th in the field. Driving distance, 94th in the field. 110 for strokes gained approach. They are not stats that I like. Proximity stats outside the top 100. I'm happy to lay him. He's way too short. He should be 250 to 1 in my opinion. Now we get on to some harder lays. Chris Gotterhook with laid at 180 to 1. That is not something that I'm keen on, if I'm being truthful. He might get back on side. So those of you that have tuned in, I promised a 10% profit is the aim each week. I didn't promise that at all. That's what I'm aiming for. And if I've gone over that this week, we're looking at more 12, 13%. I'm going to look maybe to get him back on side. I'm not so keen on that lay on reflection for over the last 24 hours. Ches Reevely is next up. He's the number one driver in terms of fairways gained. Playing from the fairways is dead important here. However, I'm going to point out that his stats in terms of driving distance, which I'm mega keen on, he sits in the bottom 10% in this field. And then his scrambling and strokes gained around the green performance is absolutely dismal over the last 24 rounds. He ranks in the bottom 10% of the whole of this field. And for me, when he's not firing on a course that demands length, I'm happy to get him in my book and lay him at nearly all prices up to 150 to 1 I'd have been happy with. Austin Cook is a small anomaly there. I'm going to skip over him. I wasn't looking to lay him properly, I don't believe, when I was doing these. So you'll see a £2 lay, but that's it. We'll quickly glance over him. Justin Lower, well, let me tell you, he is not good enough to win this tournament. 121st in strokes gained off the tee, outside the top 100 in driving distance. Proximity stats awful from 75 to 100 yards. He can't win for me, and I've put £5 at £5 bets taken at 340 to 1. And last but not least, Cameron Percy. Proximity stats not good enough. Length off the tee not good enough. He's old. He's not up for this. He can't win, in my view. Q, egg on my face. So that is a roundup. You can see just now that we can cash out for just over 0.5% in terms of profit. But the whole idea each week here, we're going to aim to lay the whole of my bankroll. So next week, if we're successful in making the £339 profit, we will lay the whole of the bankroll again, and we'll look to get through as many weeks of this season as possible. If you've liked what you've heard so far, this is the first one. I'm sure we'll improve over the course of the season. Let me know in the comments what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. Would you like to hear more around the stats, the data, why I'm laying these players? If you're really keen, drop me a DM on Twitter. It's Jack at Gingerbets or Ginger_bet, should I say. Been better if I got that right first time round. So that's Jack at Ginger_bets. On Twitter, drop me a DM, and I'm happy to share a Word doc that will explain my lays and the reasons why. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Let's hope that we can get through week one, or that'll be pretty embarrassing. But if we don't, we're going to reload, and we're going to keep bringing you this content throughout the 2022-23 season. Thanks very much for tuning in. Good luck with all your wagers this week. And don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you're really good to me, sign up to the newsletter. That'd be awesome. Thank you very much. And good luck with your wagers this week.